Hey everyone, this is Mr. MegaManFan. As always, thanks to all of the Megamaniacs who are subscribers to this channel, and if you're not, please feel free to subscribe. What I have here is a stack of 6 PlayStation 3 games that I'm going to test that I just picked up for $15. Not a bad haul, if I do say so myself. Starting with MLB 14, The Show. Disc looks clean, no instructions inside. With some of these PS3 games, I can't say for sure whether they came with instructions or not. Here's Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus, which also promises a digital download, but I don't see any codes in here. And also, the instructions for how to control the game are written on the back art in the cover insert, so it may not have come with an instruction manual. I really don't know. Here's Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time, which promises a PS Vita cross-buy, but I don't have a Vita, so that really wouldn't matter. And again, the instructions are on the back side of the cover art insert, so this may not have come with a manual either. If you know, leave a comment below the video and let me know if it did or didn't. Here's Gran Turismo 5, which does come with a manual, albeit a fairly slim one, and the disc looks okay to me. So we will give that a try in just a moment here. Next up, we have Madden 25. This one came with a manual, pretty wrinkled up, but it also didn't have anything printed on the back side of the cover art insert, so I suspect that may be a reason it did come with a manual. So that's 5 down here, one more to check, and that would be Ratchet & Clank Future, A Crack in Time. And this one came with an actually fairly beefy manual, a how-to guide as it's called, instead of an instruction manual. Disc looks okay, so I think we're ready to go ahead and start testing these, starting with Ratchet & Clank, which, as it turns out, requires an update, as did almost all of these games, so this may turn into a bit of a rant about collecting for the PS3 generation onward. As much as I like getting games cheap for these systems, I'm also frustrated by the fact that almost everything from PS3, Xbox 360 generation on requires an update when you install it. And this one took at least 6 or 7 minutes, but eventually I did prove that the game worked, so I was satisfied in the end. It's just frustrating when you just want to test a game and you end up having to download long updates to do so. Here's yet another update. And please keep in mind that I have cut out significant portions of the video here just to save us all some time, because you don't want to sit here through the loading screens and the installation screens like I had to. But once I downloaded and installed a ton of updates and data that was on the disk that it wanted to install to my hard drive, I ended up losing a lot of hard drive space on my PS3, particularly for Gran Turismo 5. That thing was a frickin' hog. We'll get to that in just a moment, but here's Madden 25. Now, this is not a game I would have paid significant amounts of money for, but again, at an average of $2.50 per game, 6 PS3 games for $15, I kind of felt it was worth it. And even though the Chicago Bears are always number one in my heart, I lived in Michigan for a little while, so the Detroit Lions do garner some affection on my part, so the cover art alone kind of made it worth it for me. Now, we have yet another installation process to go through here to update this game to version 2.1.7. And here's where I get the warning about being low on storage, because Gran Turismo 5 just decided to be the hog of all hogs. It downloaded 16 updates, like 2,000 megabytes worth of updates just to bring this game up to speed. And I had to actually quit out and delete a bunch of things off of my PS3 just to make room. So finally, when it said data installation recommended, I was like, no way, Applehead. I've installed enough already. I just want to see if this thing works. I don't care if putting a little data on the hard drive will make the game faster. I'm just not going to do it. Forget it. So having proven that's a working game, we can move on to the only one out of the set that didn't require any patches, updates, or installation to the hard drive of any kind. Hooray, as Seed Gaming would say. It's about time that one of these games would allow me to just play it. Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Wasn't so lucky with anything else in this batch. As you can see, Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus also requires updates. At least the Ratchet and Clank games try to disguise some of their installation process by giving you an opening movie to watch once you've got a majority of the data loaded on. As you can see, it says it will need to install data to the system storage, so you get to watch this nice little opening movie that tells you something about the plot while you're doing part of the install in the background. But unfortunately for this Ratchet and Clank game, the movie ends far too early and there's still a huge amount of installation to do. But once that's all done, then it makes you install trophies. Oh, what is it with PS3 games making you download and install so freaking much crap? Finally, Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus, a tested and working game. We can move on to the next one in my stack of PS3 games. Again, 6 games for $15, or is it 5? Now, it looks like MLB 14 is a working game, but it wasn't booting up. So I tried turning the system off, turning it back on again, and maybe thinking, well, maybe something I just ran was causing the problem. It was still loaded into memory, so maybe that's why the disk wouldn't boot up. So we get all the way back around to the menu here after all of the loading and connecting to my Sony PSN account stuff happens. And then we try the game again, and unfortunately, I'm going to get the exact same error again. It's just going to act like it's starting up, and then it's going to boot straight back to the console with an error message saying something happened during the startup process. We don't know what. And at that point, I took it out and I tried cleaning the disk very gently, put it back in again, same thing. I even thought, well, maybe my system flaked out, but I put in 3D Dot Heroes and that worked fine.